The Saints are a team with lofty expectations. It's been something of a bumpy ride. Do they look like a Super Bowl team to you?
Yeah, Greeny, listen, man, we talked about this team preseason about, what their expectations are. That hasn't changed. I mean, listen, because they had an ugly win, we're going to dismiss it like it's not a win in the NFL. This team came back from 17 down and 14 down. By the way, they lost to the Raiders, who just beat the Chiefs, and the Packers, who are probably as hot as any team in the NFL. So are they still contenders? Absolutely. I disagree that this team hasn't done what they're supposed to be doing, right? They are overcoming it, by the way, without Michael Thomas. They're building chemistry with Emmanuel Sanders, Cook, Kamara. All these guys are playing big parts. And by the way, their offensive line didn't play great last night. Brees had to move around. I love that they are finding ways to win. It matters. Ugly wins still matter in the NFL, Greeny. This is still a team to not dismiss in the NFC.
I'll repeat, Brees threw the ball 47 times last night without his favorite target on the field. Swagoo, what do you see in the Saints right now?
I see a team that's struggling. Listen, I'm not the same. I don't have the same optimism as Jeff when it comes to this team. Quite frankly, the Saints should have lost this game. They should have lost last week. And I know shoulda, woulda, coulda, and all of that. But these type of games and performances catch up with you later on. And that's the issue that I'm having with the Saints right now, the slow starts. And then you look at the Los Angeles Chargers with a young quarterback coming in there and being able to go up 20-3. Their secondary right now, can't cover anybody. No one. And they can't stop anyone from scoring in the red zone. They have the worst red zone defense in the NFL. And every football player on here knows that once you get into playoff situations, speaking of NFC, talking about Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson and the teams that they have to beat in order to make it to a Super Bowl, I don't see that out of the Saints right now. And mostly because of defense. I think the offense will be fine and they'll come along. This defense isn't stopping anybody.
All right, so we have one thumbs up and one thumbs kind of down. And let me come to Greg McElroy, and let's talk about the quarterback. What did you see from Drew Brees last night?
Well, the first half was brutal. Greeny at one point tracking his throws. He had twice as many inaccurates as he had accurate passes at one point in the first half. But it all kind of was summarized by 3 plays. And this was an atrocious throw where it's 3rd and 4. He could hit it over the middle. He opts to try to throw it deep. It's intercepted. Really, really, really bad decision. But he finds Emmanuel Sanders with 8 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. Emmanuel Sanders gets really energized. And then that's kind of what sparked his performance in the second half. I thought on the throw to Cook, that was vintage Brees for the touchdown. He saw the free safety in the middle of the field. He manipulated. He gave a slight pump fake and hit his streaking tight end to the front left pylon of the end zone. So I thought there were a lot of positives in the second half. But if he plays like he played in the first half, where he's completely inaccurate, guys are trapping balls against the turf, guys can't run after catch because he's off the mark, then they're not going to do anything. They might not even make the playoffs, and even if they do, they won't get out of the first round. So, yeah, I have my concerns on defense, but, man, this team is still all about Drew Brees and his efficiency. And when he's efficient, it's a tough team to stop.
And, again, he's playing without his favorite target for most of this season so far. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, listen, I understand the inaccuracies of Brees. Listen, I beat him up when he wasn't throwing the ball down the field. The Chargers' defensive line is legitimate, and they were giving the Saints' offensive line fits early in the game. By the way, 2 of the best tackles in the game, and they were getting fits by this Chargers defensive line. Give some credit where credit's due. They held the Chiefs down, right? That was the, quote, game plan everybody was going to use with the Chargers against the Chiefs. This is not just some slappy defense that everybody walks up and down the field. There are ugly games in the NFL. It's how you respond that's so impressive, in my opinion, because, again, I beat him up about not throwing the ball deep. He threw it deep last night and made big plays. Like, give some credit to the other guys get paid a boat ton of money on the defensive side. This Swagoo used to play that all of a sudden they ain't any good. Like, that's a good defense. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. But really quickly, though, Jeff, you also were making the point this morning before we came on that we should not overlook the Michael Thomas thing. It's not just the effect that has on the field, but it's the effect that the distraction of the event. Again, he was suspended for this game for punching a teammate. The distraction of that is something this team had to work to overcome, Jeff.
Yeah, this is huge. And listen, Grant, I don't know what happened. Like, this couldn't just be a, hey, we got into a tussle after a one-on-one drill and somebody threw a punt. Like, whatever it was to get to bench him for this week was a big deal. Well, guess what? That affects every room in the building, whether you're in the receiver room, the quarterback room, the offensive line room, defensive back room. Everybody are having conversations. All guys are having discussions about this because they understand what type of impact player Michael Thomas is. Again, last year probably could have been in the MVP conversation with the season he has. I know we only give it to quarterbacks, but this guy carried the Saints offense. To miss him, guys have issues with that in the room. They want to discuss it. It is absolutely a distraction that they overcame, which is a huge deal to overcome something that big. This is not we're missing offensive lineman because of injury. This is the most dominant receiver in our game, and we're sitting him because of discipline. Huge deal, Greeny.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.